بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is Miss Layla Al-Jahani. Welcome again, dear students. Inshallah, today we will continue our unit 5, since when? Today we will cover, inshallah, 2 lessons, lesson 9 and 10, the reading and the project, okay? So, before we start, let's recall what we covered in our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we covered about you. We had different questions. And the answers should have been based on your experience, okay? And also we had a conversation between 2 men, and we gathered the information from the conversation, and we learned some new phrases you can use when you are catching up with an old friend, okay? When you didn't see your friend or family member for a long time, you can catch up with them using these phrases, okay? Inshallah, today, by the end of our lesson, you will be able to read and answer questions related to the reading passage. So you will have a reading and we will answer questions related to it, okay? And also you will be able to write about the most important invention of the last century. You will think about a very important invention and you will write about it, okay? Before we start, I gave you a homework, page 121. We had a passage. Okay, you have to read the passage and then answer questions related to the passage. Let's read it together. If you haven't done it, try while I'm reading now. You can to write true or false, okay? Since the 1700s, people have tried many different ways of traveling over land. They wanted to move more quickly and more comfortably than they could on horseback. Inventors have produced several different kinds of car engines since 1760. First, they tried steam engines, but they were noisy, and the driver had to stop frequently to get more water. Then they tried gasoline engines. The inventors of the modern gasoline-powered automobiles was a German named Carl Benz. He made his first car in 1886. His company later became Mercedes-Benz, and it is still making cars today. Automobile companies have added many improvements to cars over the years. Have you been in a car in a rainy or snowy weather? Was it difficult to see the other cars on the road? 100 years ago, it was almost impossible to drive in bad weather. People had to get out of their cars and wipe the windshields of their cars every few minutes. However, today we have windshield wipers. M. Anderson invented the windshield wiper in 1903. And by 1913, almost all American cars had them. And today, you can't buy a car without them. Another invention that has become very popular is the bucket seat. Steve McQueen, a famous American actor, invented this type of seat. McQueen worked on cars and was a race car driver. He needed a seat that was comfortable when his car was going very fast. Have you ever sat in a bucket seat? It's lower than a regular seat, and most people say it's more comfortable. Manufacturers have put bucket seats in cars for over 30 years now. Auto manufacturers have improved cars. Okay, this is the passage while I'm reading. It's about cars, about engines, the history of inventing cars, the inventions related to cars, like the wipers, the bucket seat. Okay, so the questions here we have, right? There is a continuation here. They've added things that make driving easier and more comfortable for drivers. Windshield wipers and bucket seats were only were only the beginning. Now many cars have GPS devices and even computers to help drivers park. Cars have come a long way in 100 years. Okay, this is the passage, the whole passage. We have these questions: write true or for true, and F for false. Okay, you should read the statement and then write true or false based on the reading we have. Okay, these are the answers. The first one is true, and the second, F, false. Third, false. Fourth is true, and the last one, 5, is false. Okay, so now I want you to look at these pictures. Okay, starting our lesson today. Look at these men here we have in front of us. What are they doing? What do you think they are doing? Who are they? They are, some of them are excellent actors. Some of them are cameramen, and some are the directors. So they are making movies. They are making movies. These are the people who makes movies. As we can see here, we have a green screen behind. And using this green screen allows the visual effects to show behind them anything behind, to show a house, to show a mountain, anything behind them, they can change it. And they can change what the actors wear. We call these visual effects. But when you watch movies, when they use guns and bombs, do you think this is real? Do they really use guns? No, they don't. Excellent. They don't use it. So to make the real sound, they use something called special effects. Special effects. The special effects, they can be visual. You can see them. They can change the screen. Or they can be, they change the sound effects, okay? Like this woman here, she's trying to pop the plastic change so she can get some sounds and she can use it on a picture or on a movie. This is how they use the lights, they use the green screens, they use the visual effects and the sound effects to make movies, okay? Also, do you remember comic books? Do you read comic books? I used to read them, okay? I'm not sure about you. But even in comic books, they have pictures of the characters and we have the dialogue. When we read the dialogue, sometimes we see these phrases. They are sounds. They are sounds. Even when we are reading, they want us to imagine how it can be real. Imagine the sound in the scene, okay? This is, if you can look here, this is a picture of a very famous actor. His name is Charlie Chaplin, okay? Do you know this man? Have you ever seen one of his movies? Okay, he is a very old actor. During his day, the actors didn't have a dialogue. They only move around, okay? They don't have a dialogue. They only use sound effects, the boom and the crash, all these sounds, they use it, okay? Imagining, do you think now, if we are comparing the movies before and now, are they the same? Do they use the same visual effects, the same sound effects? No. It improved a lot throughout the years and it's still improving, okay? So before we read, we have these questions. You can find these questions on page 54, okay? What do you know about early film productions? Do you have any information like the Charlie Chaplin picture? Do you know any information? They didn't use dialogues between the characters. They only move around. It was in colors? لا, it was on, they used black and white only shades. Two, what do you know about special effects? Do you have any other information about special effects? We said there is visual effects and sound effects. What else do you know? Do you have any other informations? Do you think one person can do all of that? No, it's a team of engineers. They work together to create the scenes we can see on movies, okay? The bombs and the sound system, the music, all of these interfere together to make a scene, okay? We have these pictures of really famous movies. Do you know this one? This is Toy Story movie, and we have dinosaurs and Godzilla, the famous King Kong, the famous large monkey. Okay, we have the first passage in our reading. We have different paragraphs in our reading. We will start with the first one. Then I will give you some questions and you will answer it based on the reading. We will do it paragraph by paragraph, not all at once, okay? Let's hear the reading together.
Audiences have been fascinated by the moving images in films ever since the Lumiere brothers first showed short films in a cafe in Paris on December 28, 1895. That day, the audience screamed when a train on the film came straight toward them. Since then, filmmakers have used various techniques to amaze viewers. These techniques form the art of special effects and create the visual illusions on the screen.
Okay. We have these questions, true and false questions. Read the questions. The Lumiere brothers made the first film. Is this true statement from the reading? So pause the video, take your time to read the passage, and then try to answer these questions. The first film had on special effects, had no special effects. Is this true or a false statement? Okay, let's see the answers together. The first statement is true, the other one is false, okay? Now for the second paragraph, let's hear read together.
One of the first special effects used in motion pictures was discovered by accident. While filming in the streets of Paris in 1896, Georges Méliès's camera stopped and started again. When he viewed the film later, he found that the stop trick had caused a bus to turn into a carriage and pedestrians to disappear or change into different people. Because the film sequence had been interrupted, the picture seemed to mysteriously change before his eyes. Since then, filmmakers have used tricks like this to make people see things that didn't happen in real life.
Okay, we read this passage. You can read it again and try to answer these three statements. Also, you should use true or false based on the reading. Georges Méliès discovered the stop trick by accident. Is this statement true or false? Okay. The stop trick made it look like people and things in the film changed into someone or something else. Is this true or false? Other filmmakers were not interested in the stop trick technique. Okay. Based on the reading, pause the video, read it, try to answer these questions, and now let's see the answers together. For the first one, the statement is true. The second, true. The last one, the statement is false. Okay. Now for the third paragraph, let's hear the audio together. It's related to, I think, these pictures, the film King Kong. You will hear about it. Okay.
Filmmakers today still use other old techniques such as miniatures and the animation of small-scale models. One of the most famous special effects in film history was the title character in King Kong, made in 1933. The huge gorilla on top of the Empire State Building was actually only 18 inches, 45 centimeters, high. The film contained many revolutionary technical innovations for its time.
Okay. Now let's read these questions, and you can write true or false based on the reading. King Kong was the name of an animal. Is this true or false? The gorilla looked big in the film, but it was really very small. Is this statement true or false? They mentioned something about the actual size, صح? Read it and try to answer these questions. So both statements here we have are true statements, okay? And here for this paragraph, let's hear the reading together.
Another classic was Star Wars, 1977, and its sequels, created by George Lucas. His ideas for the imagery and action scenes were so fantastic that the special effects crew often had to invent new techniques to accomplish them. They made many improvements in effects technology and developed a computer-controlled camera to create scenes with more realistic motion.
Okay. Now, we have these statements. George Lucas was a very innovative filmmaker with new ideas. Is this statement true or false? Based on this paragraph. The special effects crew of Star Wars used old techniques and technology. Is this true or false? Did they use old or new? Computer-controlled cameras was used in the Star Wars films to create scenes with realistic motion. Is this true or false? Okay, let's see the answers. So for the first one, the statement is true. And the second, the statement is false. And the last one is true. They used a computer-controlled camera. Okay, let's hear this paragraph.
Nowadays, digital technology has given special effects a totally new dimension. Films such as Jurassic Park, Toy Story, Transformers, and Pirates of the Caribbean have become references in the art of visual effects. Imaginary situations and characters that only existed in books and comic books, such as Spider-Man, have also been made to look realistic on television thanks to computer-generated images.
Okay. We have this paragraph and we have these statements. You should just write true or false. The first one, special effects nowadays are different because of computers. Is this true or false? People study Toy Story, Transformers, and Pirates of the Caribbean because of their special effects. Is this true or false? The comic book Spider-Man comes from the film of the same name. Is this true or false statement? Okay, so for the first one, the statement is true. And the last one here, it's false. They didn't mention anything about the comic book Spider-Man comes from the film. Okay? And the last paragraph.
The art of filmmaking never stops. What amazing visual effects will filmmakers use in the future? You'll see them on the screen soon.
Okay. Okay, now we have, after the reading, you have exercise A. Match the words with their meaning. So we have these words, and here we have different meanings. Try to match. Okay, try to match. Technique. What does technique mean? What does it mean? What do you think it means? We have sequence. What does a sequence mean? Miniature and innovation. Accomplish. What does these words mean? Pause the video, think about it, read the passage again, try to find out while reading the whole sentence what does it mean, okay, to help you with the meaning. Now let's see the answers together. So technique, the word mean D, a way of doing things. This is the technique. Sequence, actions or events in a particular order. Interrupt is stop in the middle. This is an interruption, okay? Miniature, a small model. That's mean a small size model. Innovation, a new way of doing things. Accomplish means succeed in doing something, okay? Now for exercise B, answer about the articles. How long have audiences watch films? How long do you think? Try to read the questions and answer them based on the reading. Pause the video, read it again, try to find out the answers. And now let's see the answers together. For the first question, audiences have watched movies since 1895 for more than 115 years. You can write this one or since, for or since you can use, okay? Second question, how was the stop trick discovered? How do you think? From the reading. Excellent. The stop trick was discovered by accident. Okay. The third question, what special effects was used for King Kong? What do you think? Good. A small model of a gorilla was used, but in the film it looked large. Okay. The fourth question, how did the special effects crew of Star Wars create realistic motions? They used a computer-controlled camera to create scenes with more realistic motions. Question 5, what films have become references in the art of visual effects? Yes, excellent. Toy Story, Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, Toy Story, Transformers, and Pirates of the Caribbean. These are the movies. 6, have you seen any of the films mentioned in the article? Have you ever seen Toy Story? Have you ever seen Transformers? Talk about the titles of the movies. What is your opinion of it? Do you like these movies? This is a discussion. Discuss it with your friends. Tell them the story, what happens in the movie, as a speaking exercise. Okay, for the discussion also, speaking also, give examples of special effects in films you've seen on TV. Which impressed you the most? Can you think about special effects you can see in the movies? Especially we can see it, the special effects, in action movies, also in science fiction movies where they create monsters which is not real. Okay, these are the things. Also in cartoons we can see very creative special effects, right? Describe a TV film you saw that had a lot of special effects. Can you tell me of a TV or a film that has a lot of special effects? Yes, Avatar is one of the famous ones. What other? Jurassic Park is one of the, they showed us that there is dinosaurs while it's all special effects, right? Do you like to watch old black and white films? Do you? Why and why not? Okay, you can say yes I do or no, discuss it with your friend, tell them the reason why you don't like it or why do you like it. 4, have you ever seen a 3-dimensional film? Have you ever been to a movie like this? Yes or no? What kind of movie is it? What is the title of the movie? What is it about? Okay, talk together. What do you think special effects will be like in the future? Do you think they will improve or they will be the same? Of course, I agree. They will be improved. I think it will be highly improved and developed. They will develop and invent more ways to make the movie industry better, okay? For the last part of our lesson, we have the project, work in a group. So for your project, you will not work alone, you will work in a group, okay? What do you think of the most important invention of the last century? What do you think is the most important invention? Is it the mobile phone? Is it computers? What do you think? Choose a topic you can talk about with your friends. How has it changed people's life? Do you think it changed people's lives or their life are the same, is the same, okay? Present your argument to the class about why you think it is so important, okay? You can divide the work between you and your friends. One of you, the first thing for sure, you have to discuss the topic. What are you going to write about? And you have to give reason. Remember, when we are writing, we have to give examples to support our idea. You can't tell me, I think computers are the most important invention in the last century because I like it. This is not a reason. You have to give me reasons. Because you can watch movies, you can surf the internet. Give me different reasons, list the reasons and give example to support your reasons, okay? You have to first choose the topic, look up for information and write notes. You have to look for information. You have to look to the history of this invention, how life changed before and after, okay? Make sure to use the present perfect tense, okay? Make sure to use foreign sense correctly. So refer back to our grammar to write more cohesive sentences and appropriate sentences, okay? And then present the argument in your class. When you finish writing it, you can present it to your class. So what did we cover in our lesson today? We said we read the passage, we answered questions related to the passage, and we talked about our project. We should write about a very important invention, and next class you should present it to your classmates. Thank you for listening. That's it for today. Inshallah, I will see you next class.